Hey guys, how are you? So today is May 1st, 2016, first day of Stitch Mania, and I am so excited, even though I know this is very last minute, to share my plans with you. And I am very excited about Stitch Mania because last year I found out about it like right at the tail end of May, and I was so bummed that I missed it. But thinking about it now, I'm glad I did because I'd only been stitching for a handful of months, maybe two-ish. Just not that many, like 2.5 to be exact. So it would have been, I think I would have started a few projects that I might have not wanted to commit to now. So in a way, I'm glad I waited. I am going to go with the traditional approach, 15 starts in 15 days to the best of my abilities. If something happens and I need to like skip a day, it's not really a big deal to me. But I do want to do the 15 projects. Before I start, I did want to mention two really good ideas that I did hear, and I think I might do in years to come. One was by one of the people in the Facebook group, was starting a project every other day and then using the day in between to get as far as you can on the project you started. And I think it's also a great idea if you kind of weren't completely ready for Mania to use that day in between to prepare for the next day. So that's something I might do just so it's not super stressful, because it's fun, but I'm sure it's going to be stressful. So yeah, no. The second idea that I heard was actually by a Flosstuber here on YouTube, obviously, Brittany or Blimey Cat Stitches. She did Stitch Mania as it's meant to be done last year, and she decided that for every project that she had started in Mania that she finished, she would get a new start, and then for the other she would just pull out the project she started that day and try and get as much of it done as possible. So I think I'd like to do that next year. I'm hoping I finish a couple of these projects. One, I know I have to because it's for a Christmas present. The other, I'd like to, it's also a Christmas, they're both Christmas stockings, but one is for a family member who doesn't have one, and one is a replacement. So if she doesn't get it this year, it's not really the end of the world, but I'd like to try and get it done. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead with my Mania plans. So May 1st, I will be starting 7 C's, and it is from the Cross Stitch Collection magazine. I believe it is the March issue. Let me see if I can pull it. I should have had that ready. I was just going to insert a picture, but since it is from a magazine, I figure I would tell you the number of the magazine. Is it this one? Yes, it is. It is the March Cross Stitch Collection issue 259. I'm just going to insert a picture because that'll look better than just showing you on my phone. So here's that. And I'm stitching it kind of on the recommended fabric. I'm stitching it on Vintage Country Cream 28 Cashel. So 28 count linen. It recommends Ada in Vintage Country Cream, but I wanted to do it in 28 count to make some of the half stitches and all that quarter stitches and stuff easier, but they didn't have even weave, which is what I wanted. So I decided to go for the linen, and I'm actually doing a few linen projects. So that's what it looks like there. It's very subtle modeling. It's like an antique white with like a cream modeling, and I know the lighting here is probably making that hard to see. Let me, maybe if I fold it, it'll actually be easier. Yeah, this camera's like right under the light here, but you get the general idea, I think. Yeah, I think that's the best I'm gonna be able to do. What if I turn the camera a little bit? I don't know. I guess you can't really tell, but it's very, very light with a really, really subtle cream modeling. So that's going to be May 1st. On May 2nd, I'm doing the Butterfly Effect by Heaven and Earth. It's actually a mini. It's available as a full-size chart, but I have not yet taken the leap to do a full-size Heaven and Earth or any large Tilton Crafts or Mystic Stitch or anything. One day, but I'm not ready yet. So I'll insert a picture of what the finished product will look like here. And I am stitching it on this 25 count Lugana. It's a solo opalescent, and I'm excited because normally for Heaven and Earth I can't use anything like this because they're full coverage, so it'd be a waste of fabric that is meant to show through. But this is what it looks like here. If I kind of turn it, you can kind of tell. And this is a fat quarter. I get a lot of these silk weaver fabrics from an eBay seller called Jewel Junebug, and she's got like a ton. She's also got some Picture This Plus. So that's what it looks like in its full glory, and it's sparkly. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. There we go, I think you'll be able to see that. It is not gonna need all this fabric, so I have to kind of decide where I want it to be. And as you saw from the picture, I want it to be at a good spot where like the butterflies don't blend in to the color. I don't think it will, but I have to really make sure I check and cut it appropriately. So that is going to be day 2 tomorrow. And these are pretty set. If I get home and I end up not having a lot of time, I might try to switch some around. I tried to leave projects that would take me a little longer to figure out for the weekend days. But if I need to move or switch anything, you know, it happens. Alright, so on day 3, I am back to my magical creatures. I never did finish April, so I'm just going to start the April block. My goal is to finish both April and May this month and be caught up and do the border for June at least, but we'll see if that happens. If not, I plan on getting myself caught up in June, as well as hopefully finishing that border in June, so that I don't have to worry about it and just stitch the months when they come. Alright, on April 4th, I am working on an Etsy pattern. I can't recall the name right now, actually, that's terrible, but it's the Alien Tracker. If you like the Alien franchise, this scene is from Aliens, and I'm going to insert the picture here of what the finished product the digital picture she created, not the pattern, just the picture. I basically call it the Alien Tracker. It's a scene from Aliens. If you watch the franchise, at one point Ripley and all the Marines are kind of stuck in this area of the compound, and Hudson, which is Bill Paxton's character, and I remember like 4 names. I know it's Ripley, Newt, Hudson, and Hicks, and Bishop, which is the android. But anyway, there's more Marine people that unfortunately pretty much all get killed off, because that's how alien movies tend to be. And he's holding this item that detects, I guess, movement or heat, I'm not sure, and they're in the room, and it's a pretty big room. They barricaded the door, and he's swinging around, and he's seeing all this red dot, and he's like, they're getting near us, man, and something like that. There's something, oh, I remember what the quote is. There's something moving here, and it ain't us, and that's the quote on the pattern, and I haven't actually looked at it in a long time, but I know that I really like it, and I'm just going to do that on a gray 16 count Aida. Nothing really special. This is probably way too big for it, but it's just gray 16 count Aida. She recommended, the Etsy designer recommended gray fabric and actually 16 count, so I decided to go for it, and it works well with the Aliens theme. So I know some alien lovers and some of the Facebook groups will appreciate that. I love, that's my favorite movie, is Aliens. From that franchise, I meant to say. Alright, so on day 5, I am starting Glory of Autumn. This is a very popular Dimensions kit. It's gorgeous. I got it once on Amazon when somebody on Facebook posted that it was on sale. This was one of the few times that I was actually enabled, mainly because of the deal, because I knew at one point I was going to buy it anyway. So I'll be starting that. This is going to be done on 14 count ivory Aida. You can see that there, so nothing too special there. But yeah. Alright, on day 6, May 6th, I am starting Love, which is Inspirational Words by Joan Elliott. There are 8 total, but there are 6 in this sort of cool color scheme, and she has family and friends in warmer colors. I'd still like to do all 8. I want to figure out a way to frame them together to put somewhere in my home. I've already started Believe, and I only just started it, but I'd really like to get this done either this year or early next year. So I figured starting a second one will really help me get a move on. and I would obviously prioritize that as well. On day 7, I am going to be starting this wonderful ink circles pattern called Reflections of Paris. I bought this with some Christmas money, and I knew I was going to start it in Maynia. So I'm actually stitching this a little unique. I think I'm stitching it on 28 count linen, and it's like a teal color. I'm not going to take it out of the package because I'd have to like actually break it open. There's no like, but that's the color, and I'm actually going to be stitching on it with Mosaic Leia. So it's this lovely variegated orange and purple, and I think that's going to look really cool. I also think it's going to be a bit of a challenge because of the way the pattern is. I'll be forced to kind of decide where I'm going to go with the variegation, and it's really quite small, so I'm excited. It's really not too terribly large. And it's going to be on 32 count. It's 7.5 by 7.5. So this is 28. So it probably will be maybe 9 by 9, something like that. I'm a little bit nervous about using this linen because I think it's witch-oat linen, which I don't particularly like. Got this in kind of like a grab bag type thing. It was an eBay auction actually for like 5 or 6 fabrics, and this was in it. But I thought it'd be a great opportunity to try it and do it. All right, the next one I am super excited about, you guys. I'm gonna do my first ever full-size Mirabilia, and it is Mermaid of Atlantis. Oh. And I'm doing it on a super exciting fabric. It's actually a linen, and the reason that I went for the linen is because of the color. I wanted this dark fabric. It might be a little bit hard to stitch on, but it's going to be gorgeous, and I can't wait. This is, pardon me. This is Flotsam and Jetsam by Chromatic Alchemy. And if I lived in the UK, I'd be in this fabric of the month. And I am one that has said I wouldn't be in a fabric of the month because I'd rather just pick a fabric myself. But their fabrics are always amazing and beautiful. And there are many out there who are, but I'm just really amazed. This is so beautiful. And I was a little worried about this outer brown color. But after putting the floss over the fabric, I think it's going to be okay. If it really ends up being a big deal, I'll try to find another variegated that's maybe a little bit lighter or something. But yeah, so it's like these dark blues and greens, and it just reminds me, like, it makes me think that she's deep underwater, as Atlantis should be, and there's not a lot of light coming through, but just enough. So I wanted it to look like underwater at night, I guess. And it does smell quite lovely. So I am really excited, and I think my not big love of linen is gonna go away because of the color payoff that you get, and that beats out the fabric. I just have to make sure it's not a witch-oat linen. I'll be fine. Like all the linens that I bought that aren't witch-oat, I haven't stitched on one yet, but it just looks better, it feels better. I think I'm going to be much happier with this. So I'm really, really excited. I got her almost entirely kitted up. I have a full set of DMC, so I can start doing her. I would do all the DMC flosses anyway. I do have all the water lilies and most of the Mill Hill and Petite Treasure braid. I am going to use Petite Treasure braid instead of Krennic. And I'm not going to do that till the end anyway. So I can wait and it'll be fine. So I'm really very, very excited. I wanted to start her, but I knew I wanted to do her on a weekend, and today was not plausible because I wanted to record these videos, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to devote a ton of time to a project today. Okay, so on May 9th, I'm going to be working on my Harry Potter titles. This is a pattern I created myself. I originally had made it for a Harry Potter style in a different Facebook group, and it just so happened that it started on the day Alan Rickman passed away, so I decided to do a pattern that featured a silver doe instead. And I'm finally ready to get back to this. I did have shown this before. I kind of consolidated and remade it into a smaller print or like a smaller size grid so that I could fit it all in one. And there it is. It's all the titles of the books in a font that I thought represented a little bit of the essence of the story. I am going to be stitching these in the original title colors in the original US hardcover, well, hard and soft cover print. So like this one will be gold, silver, prisoner, green, blue, or orange, blue, like a goldeny orange, a blue, a purple, and then a red. So yeah, I actually started this and I'm really unhappy, so I'm going to take those stitches out. I started doing it in the DMC satin and it's just too much. I love the idea, but it's very messy to stitch with. I mentioned I used it in my my March block in Magical Creatures, and it was a pain, and I think it was okay because I could use little bits of it at a time, but I think doing this whole thing in satin is going to drive me insane. So I'm just going to do it in cotton. That's okay. I don't mind, and I'm doing it on 16 count black. This is 16 or 18? 16 count black Ada. So I just started the S for stone. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to start it again for Maynia. So I'm really excited because it is my own pattern. I did mention I was gonna create it using PC Stitch, which I did the trial version. I haven't bought it. The 30 days are definitely up because I bought it and then I got super busy and couldn't really use it. Or not bought it, like I downloaded the trial. And so maybe over the summertime, June, July for me, I'll make it available. And again, for those of you who mentioned that, I didn't even think of that. That's so sweet. It's so nice of you to mention that you'd be interested in purchasing it. So yeah, I will probably do that. And hey, maybe I'll make some money to make some stitching. Not interested in a whole job or anything, but hey, who'll say no to some extra money, you know? Right? Right. All right, moving on. So that was the 9th. On the 10th, I'm going to do the Snowflower Diaries calendar. It's a freebie, and every month they put out a scene. So I'll insert a picture of just the January one for now, and this is what it looks like. And I'm going to be stitching it on this 32 count, 32 count Summer Khaki Lugana. And it is a huge piece. This is a fat half, I believe, of fabric because I want to do it 3x4. So it's going to take a lot of fabric. I don't know if it'll take entirely this fat half, but it'll quite certainly will take a whole bunch of it. So I am really excited, especially because it's the most primitive type of design I've ever done. It's really not my thing to stitch primitive stuff, but it was just adorable, and every month so far has been really cute. So I'm really excited to start that. Then on the 11th, I'm going to do a design by Jane Netley Mayhew. This is called A Graceful Tale, and it's a Paradise Flycatcher. This is from her Cross Stitch Safari, which has been mentioned by quite a few Flosstubers. And this is what it's going to look like here. And it recommends doing it on a 14 count Sage Green Ada. I think I'm just going to go for it. I know I could probably do it on an even week, but I probably have to order it online. And I know my local Joann's does sell the Sage Green Ada, so I'm just going to go for it. And I don't have it at the moment, but hopefully, and knock on wood, they will have it every time I've gone. So far they've had it, so I'll go, you know, sometime before the 11th and get that piece of fabric. Then on the 12th, I'm going to be starting a stocking, which is for a family member. It's going to be for a cousin's stepson. She is getting married next year, so we're getting a little bit of an early start, but you know, they've already lived together, her and her husband to be, and he had 2 children. So Angela's Law is making the daughters. I'm gonna make the sons. This one should be done by Christmas. I think it will be. I am also stitching a stocking for one of my parents, and my mother-in-law thankfully offered to stitch the second, so I really kind of have 2 stockings to do, but this doesn't look too bad. It's not full coverage, so I think I'll be okay. I probably won't be stitching in it much until summertime, but at least I'll have it started and I'll be able to be working on it. So that's that. On the 13th, I am starting Vision of Hope. This is a DreamWorks kit, but the design is by Joan Elliott, and it's a dream catcher, and it says every dream is a vision of hope. This is the very first kit that I bought of this size. I had bought like a 5x7. This is my first large kit, and I have not started it. I separated the threads, I organized it, and then I never started it. One thing I did notice is it comes on with 11 count Aida, which is not my favorite, but it has some huge beads. Look at those beads. Those blue dots, that's all beads. So I'm pretty sure that's why. Those beads look like they take up more than one 11 size square. So I'm just gonna do it on the 11 count. So yeah, I figured I really should get this started as it is the very first kit I bought. Yeah, I mean that sounds odd because I bought 2 small kits, but this is the very first large kit I bought. So yeah, I decided it'd be a good time to get that started. Then I am starting another stocking. This is one I mentioned. This is for my sister-in-law. She has a very old felt applique stocking, which is what my aunt-in-law used to make until she started doing the cross stitch, and hers is falling apart, which is why I really, really want to get it done for her. But I do have 2 stockings to make, and they don't have a stocking at all. So if I don't get this done, it's not the end of the world. I actually don't have to finish this because my mother-in-law wants to stitch some of it. So I'll probably stitch about half, and then she's gonna stitch the other half. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think some of the blue is just the blue of the fabric, so that may help. So I don't think a lot of the sky is stitched, which actually it might help, and I might be able to do a good amount of it. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll have to get together to her and see how we want to split this up. Yeah, so I want to at least get it started. So last thing, last stocking of the year, because that's already enough. Last but not least, I am starting my first ever Passione Ricamo design. It is the mystery design from 2014 into 2015. It's called Under the Moonlight, and it is another mermaid. So I'll have Mermaid of Atlantis, and I'll have this mermaid, and here is the picture of what that looks like. And I kind of went through Jessie from Jessie Marie's Stuff journey of starting this and showing the progress and showing the parts and then showing that she wants to get it finished. And every time I saw it, I'm like, that's so pretty, that's so pretty, that's so pretty. And then I finally got it. And I decided it was going to be a Maynia start. I left it for the very last day because 1, it's going to be a weekend day, so it'll be good, and 2, because it's such a large piece. 3, because I'm almost 100% sure I have a fabric I want to use, but I saw another one online that I kind of like, and I'm still kind of debating if I'm going to order it or not. I have to decide. I think I'd like to order it and be able to compare, but I get the feeling I'm going to end up choosing this one because I've done that before. I order a second for a fabric and then go back to my first choice. But that other fabric is very beautiful and I would use it elsewhere, so I might just order it, and then that way I will feel like, okay, I really did want this fabric and not the other one. Or if I end up going on for the other one, there's plenty I can do with this. This is a fat half of 28 count linen by Under the Sea Fabrics. It's huge, as that piece is going to be, and it is called Calypso's K. It is so pretty, and I actually had an interesting mishap. I ordered this in as a Lugana, and this is totally my fault. I did know Lugana dyes much lighter, but I did not think it would look so different. I just thought it would be these colors but lighter. It looked almost like mint green and gray, and this is like teal and aqua, which is what I wanted. And Leslie was so kind. In fact, I felt like I almost came off rude when I emailed her, and I'm like, this is not right. This is not what I wanted. I mean, I knew it dyed lighter, but I wasn't expecting it to look so different. And she so very sweetly let me exchange it. She didn't charge me the extra for getting linen because she didn't end up sending me a return slip. I just paid the return fee, which, I mean, I would have been glad to pay the difference. I didn't want that fabric, and since it's a fat half and it was so expensive, I didn't want to just keep it for something else and order a new one. So I did accept the exchange, and that was funny because I had two mishaps, one with Hand-Dyed Fabric by Stephanie and one with Under the Sea Fabrics, but they were both extremely helpful, so highly recommended. Great customer service, beautiful products. It's just not something I was expecting. Now, she does have a lot of different pictures, but this particular one just had the linen, so I wasn't sure what it would look like, but I am totally okay with it because it's gorgeous. If I don't end up using that fabric, there's actually a second Passione Mermaid I really like. I think it was the second mystery sampler. I don't know exactly what year that was, but I'm guessing if that one was 2013 to 14, or was it 14 to 15? No, I can't remember. It would have been 12 to 13 if that was the correct pattern. And she's beautiful, and I think she would look good on that fabric as well. Or I'll find something for it because the fabric itself is gorgeous. I just have to decide if I'm going to purchase that other one and have it so that it can, and it is from an eBay seller, thankfully, so the fabric is dyed, it's ready to go. It doesn't need to be dyed, which is, I know, what makes it take a little while. So those are my Maynia plans, and I am so excited to be doing Maynia. I'm excited to be recording for you guys. Happy Maynia. I'm so excited to get started. I will see you all very soon. I will be posting very soon. I know I will, because I want to jump back in, and things are getting a lot less busy for the time being, so I'm going to enjoy that while I can. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.